perhaps one of the most profound stories in Japanese cinema has to be the story of the 47 Ronin. The true story of the 47 samurai warriors banding together to assassinate the ruler responsible for the death of their master. It's been the subject of many diverse films. You got Hiroshi Inagaki's masterful 1962 The Loyal 47 Ronin. You also got some trashy films like Masamu Sushima's Ninja Vixens. Kinji Fukasaku also did his own version in the late 70s under the title The Fall of Aku Castle. But the Crest of Betrayal is definitely the strangest adaptation I've ever seen. In this version, Fukasaku combined the legend of the 47 samurai with the other well-known story of Japanese folklore, the Ghost of Yatsuya, most famously brought to the screen by the Jigoku director Nakagawa in 1959's Ghost of Yatsuya. The Ghost of Yatsuya is about the revenge of a disfigured female ghost on her lover who had poisoned her in order to marry another woman of a better, wealthier standing. Crest of Betrayal is the first cinematic attempt at combining the 47 Ronin and the Ghost of Yatsuya. And the result is something I could probably best describe as being when you play a video game and you do all the side quests. It ends up feeling like there's a lot of stories going on at once. But I will say it also has some charm because there's a lot of wackiness. And it's definitely entertaining throughout the entire runtime. So that's a good thing. So before I get into this film, I just want to say that I received this movie from SamuraiDVD.com. In case you didn't know, SamuraiDVD.com is your one-stop shopping for all samurai cinema. If you like the genre, and chances are you are if you're watching my channel, so please check out SamuraiDVD.com. Use the discount code BushidoBlues at checkout. So, for a film with such a historic story, Crest of Betrayal still manages to be very modern with its themes. Even though it's set in the early 18th century, the society portrayed in the film is very much reminiscent of Japan in the 1990s. A once great economy is now in decline. There's shifting morals and an ever-increasing individualism. The main character in the story is named Iyemon. Kind of funny because I actually used to think it was lemon just because I saw the I as an L. Kind of stupid, but that's my story. He was one of the 47 samurai who were left masterless after the forced suicide of his lord. With his fellow warriors, he plots revenge on the culprit named Yashinaga. But in the meantime, he tries to make a living as a mercenary for hire and also a musician. He plays the traditional string instrument known as the biwa. And the rest of the film plays out a lot like Ghost of Yatsuya. Iwa gets poisoned, her ghost then haunts her husband, but then the ending does show more of the 47 Ronin story. The movie itself isn't creepy, it's not at all like Ghost of Yatsuya, but I'll say it goes for something else. It almost feels like a Miike film. There's a lot of over-the-top blood and gore. And just like with Miike films, there's moments where you're not sure if you're supposed to laugh or not. Sometimes it's just so over-the-top you end up laughing. But I actually like this tone a lot. It gives the film its own identity. And I could definitely say I've never seen anything else like this film. It's very unique. And there's also a scene in this with the single greatest line I've ever heard. Merlin from SamuraiDVD.com pointed this out to me, and he's right, it's amazing. Basically, it shows Iyemon as a boy, and he kills someone, and then he goes to his father, and his response, he's not scolding him for murdering someone. Instead, he scolds him for not cleaning his sword. But this really must be a famous story because I've seen hints of this in a lot of other Japanese movies. It's very similar to one of the stories in the Japanese anthology Kwaidan. I think it was called The Black Hair, and that's where this guy leaves his wife and he goes to marry a rich woman, but then he feels guilty and misses his old wife. And actually, Ugetsu had a very similar thing in that as well. Pretty much the same storyline. I find it kind of interesting in a lot of these stories that it's men that are going after rich women. Here in the West, I always kind of known it the other way around. It's usually women marrying up by going after rich, usually older men. But I guess in this time period of ancient Japan, classism was a very big deal. And marrying into an upper class was definitely something you wanted to do. So if I view it that way, I could definitely see why this is such a common story. The director of the film definitely focuses strongly on individualist nature. A once proud man with his poverty situation, and this causes him to portray his morals and search for any kind of guarantee of an economic, sound future. And the only way out of his misery is just to commit this horrible act against his wife. By putting this character in this background of a bad economy, the director is definitely drawing similarities to Japan's economic state in the mid-1990s when the film released. In this director's best films, he likes to question the developments that he saw in society around him. You can see examples of this in his filmography with Wolves, Pigs, and Men. Also his big hit, Battle Royale. Even though this film takes the disguise of a period drama, Crest of Betrayal definitely aligns with Fukasaku's filmmaking philosophy, and it becomes all the better because of it. It's one of those films that works better both ways, both as a social commentary or as a genre period piece. Choose one or the other or both, and you really can't fail to be entertained and impressed by this. Crest of Betrayal is also a very beautifully photographed and just striking looking film with some great dreamlike images. The only issues I had is just in the story itself. I felt like it seems like it's two different movies in one, and it could be a bit confusing just because of that. I also didn't find the Ghost of Yatsuya half of this to be as creepy as the 1959 film. But if you're in the mood for a kind of weird, different take on the 47 Ronin story that also has some clever commentary on Japan's economy and society of the time, then I think you'd better check this one out. I think you'd enjoy it. If you want to own it, you can get it on SamuraiDVD.com. Don't forget to use the discount code BushidoBlues at checkout. And like always, thanks for watching.